Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Grandmaster Chess Speedrun, where we are playing principled and attacking chess with the goal of beating a chess Grandmaster. In this one, we're playing up against a 1920, and they're going for the Scandinavian with pawn to d5. I don't think this opening is too much of a threat. I know quite a lot of players like it, but I really just think that white gets normally a nice position on the queen a5 lines, and especially if the queen goes back to d8, I just don't really understand why players would want to do this to themselves. Moving the queen back and forth just always seemed like a waste of time for me. But okay, we're playing pawn to d4 with knight to c3, putting a pawn in the center, and we're going to continue just developing our pieces with like knight f3, maybe bishop c4, and everything should be doing quite nicely. So they're continuing with bishop to f5. Noticing that this b7 pawn could end up being a bit weak. There are some sidelines that I used to like where you can fianchetto the bishop, but given that we have the pawn on d4, I think we're probably better advised just to continue developing normally like this. So he goes for f6. f6 is a very strange move. I'm not sure what f6 is at all. It stops the knight from developing, and also just makes bishop c4 even stronger because it's going to be very difficult to castle. So let's play bishop c4 immediately, and I'm quite interested as to what they're going to come up with. So they go for e6 now. This is still very strange stuff. We're going to be able to castle and bring a rook to the center quickly to put pressure on this pawn. And I think white's already got a fantastic position. So bishop g5. This bishop's now spent 2 moves in the opening, so you can see they're breaking some of the rules here. I'm just going to continue and put my rook in the center and say what exactly was the purpose of all of this funny business. Okay, so we see them playing queen up to d7. I think at this point we need to eliminate this bishop and then reapply the pressure to the e6 pawn. If they capture this way after h6, then we're immediately attacking this pawn as well, which would end up being a double attack. So I think black is losing some material by force, because if they go bishop h4, then we can also hit them with g4, and on bishop f7, we can even consider capturing here and playing d5 to exploit the pin. But they decide to capture, which gives us an attack on the b7 pawn and also on the e6 pawn. And you can see that black hasn't really completed any development, and in fact their queen is the most advanced piece. Everything else is on the back row. So this is just one of the reasons why I think the Scandinavian is not the most principled opening to pick up, and probably wouldn't recommend it for most players. Just because they've moved the queen 3 times already, bishop's moved twice out to f5, then g4, and it doesn't really emphasize the important principles that I think should be getting played. So here already, queen takes on b7. I mean, this is quite appealing as well, but queen takes on b7 looks like it just wins the rook, because the only move that I see that defends with queen to c6 will be met with bishop to b5, and that just wins the queen. So I'm going to play queen takes on b7, not think about this one too much, and say thank you for the rook, and maybe even the knight. If knight c6, we just take the rook with a check, and then follow up with bishop to b5, putting pressure on the knight as well. I mean, knight e7, we can capture that guy. So yeah, I think the game is, practically speaking, already over, which is somewhat surprising that we're still getting games like this at the 1900 rating range, but also should give you guys the confidence that you can also play at this level as long as you play straightforward chess, logical improving moves every time, and don't waste a lot of time in the opening. So yeah, d5 here just removes the guard of the knight on b8. I think this is just completely winning. Let's play d5, attack the knight over here. Maybe they want to try and get the bishop out, castle, and get some discovered attack, but it's too slow. We'll just take the knight. And that's a resignation. So, interesting game. Let's take a look at the analysis, and I'll be back with you in a couple seconds. So, we played that one at a 93.7 accuracy, and they played at a 69.6. Started with e4. We pretty much always would take this pawn to lure the queen out, to kick it away with knight c3, so it was all normal stuff out of the opening, planting a pawn in the center. And bishop to f5 is already considered a mistake, Actually, maybe queen f3 was even a move here. I didn't consider that with a double attack on the bishop and the pawn, but there is queen c8 here guarding and protecting. So queen f3, not really the kind of move that I'm looking out to play, just because it brings out the queen early and seems a bit superficial. But instead, we continued with knight to f3, and I think that was basically the only inaccuracy of the game, because after bishop c4, as we can see, exploiting this f6 move, because now the light squares are under control. I don't know if f6 was maybe a mouse slip, they meant to play knight f6. I believe that more than them actually wanting to play f6, but we could even just continue with bishop c4 and knight e5, and the position is still fine as well. But anyway, after they play f6 and bishop c4, you might not be able to see this, but the position is already winning for white. Like, it's +3. So the advantage is huge. Even though it doesn't look like black's done anything super crazy, they've wasted a move here, brought the bishop out, leaving their queen side a little bit loose, and then created light square weaknesses with this f6 move, also making it harder for them to develop. So e6, castles, and bishop g5. This was pretty much the final nail in the coffin, wasting even more time moving the same piece multiple times when you should just be developing as quick as you can to get the king to safety. But after that, the rook comes to the middle, queen up, another queen move, so even more time being wasted. And even though it's equal material, try and guess the evaluation here. It's actually plus 5.3. So effectively, white is already up a rook, even though we've not won any material yet. h3 takes it, and now there is unstoppable pressure over here. I mean, if black tries to safeguard this pawn, then bishop takes on e6 is simply game over. I mean, if the queen moves somewhere, we can just take a knight with check even, and this is no good. The king remains in the center, where we've won a piece and the attack continues, so that would be completely impossible. So they tried to play e5, but at this point, the rook is just lost. Takes the rook, kicks the knight away. Apparently not the absolute best engine moves, but it's more than enough. I mean, this is like the only real continuation for black. I guess, yeah, they have to save the queen, but it's just dead lost. And they can't even castle, I realize now. So that's even worse. So yeah, a short game, but definitely a good demonstration of why you need to stick to the basics, even as a high-rated player. If you enjoyed the video, then please do like and subscribe. And if you like my style of teaching and would be interested in some one-to-one coaching, then please do send me an email. The link will be in the description below. But other than all of that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.